interviews with business owners and veteran executives who share their wisdom and expertise to help you de-stress, free up time, and make more money. Profits of IT. Welcome back to the Profits of IT. I am Jim Punzenberger, your host and the creator of the Managed Prospecting System. If you're looking to generate new clients or partners without cold calling, ad spend, or spamming, be sure to check out managedprospectingsystem.com. I'm excited to have a 25-year veteran with me. He has been currently is working for Fluence Technologies, running their channel. His background is in agile software development, and right now his focus, their focus is on financial consolidation, and it sounds like dashboards. Ben Wilson, please tell us a quick bit about the company that you work for.
Thank you, Jim, and good morning. Yeah, Fluence Technologies can best be described as a modern consolidation solution. So simple, cloud-based, finance-owned, and leveraging Excel. So most finance people are going to use Excel, whether we want them to or not. So we've embraced Excel as a front end for those finance people to be able to deliver their financial reports and consolidated, financial information to their leaders and to the market and the SEC, et cetera.
And what's something interesting about yourself outside of work?
Whew, that's an interesting question. I'll be honest and say that I like guns and hunting. So maybe that's
you're in good company then.
Maybe that's new to some of your listeners, but yeah, I like to be outside, and that includes a lot of things besides hunting. But hunting is a core part of that. So whether it's ducks or doves or bigger animals or varmints, just being outside and getting to even targets, getting to test accuracy and see how well I'm doing on the firing side is pretty cool too.
Yeah, and I think we've actually been duck hunting in the same spot. I remember we've been in
Crazy small world.
Some of the same spots in Arkansas, I believe, actually.
Yep.
So what you say is your superpower when it comes to business. And how can others learn from that to be more successful themselves? I know it's a big question and might have multiple answers, but curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Boy, that's a big one that I wasn't quite prepared to receive. Man, I think networking is a huge part of any career success. I didn't realize that until later in my probably 8-9 years into my career. I started with a little tiny software company called Lex 2000, which is still the greatest, in my view, the greatest name of a company. I'm being both serious and facetious. But that company was acquired within 2 weeks of my starting there. So we were acquired by a company called 𝐏𝐤𝐤 out of Canada. And I was with 𝐏𝐤𝐤 for about 7 years. So I had a really long run right out of college and was probably a little it's probably not too normal. So I developed some loyalty to that company and didn't really work on my network because everyone that I thought I needed to know was within that company. So when we got acquired by IBM in 2008, and IBM's a different animal completely, I realized, that companies probably aren't as loyal to me as I have been to them. And so you got to make sure that you got a network outside of where you work, and you really got to nurture it and take that very seriously. Because, one day things are going to change with that company that you work for today. And they're not going to hesitate to make a move that might impact your position or your role. So you got to make sure that you have cultivated those relationships with people that you've met along the way, so that there could be other doors are open for you when and if something changes. So I work on the selling side of the software business. So right now I run the channel in North America for Fluence. So I work with other software company partners. I work with implementation and reseller partners. And so I'm on calls all the time. I'm on calls with salespeople, with partner managers, with customers. And one of the first things I do is type down in my notes who's on the call. Like, look at the people's names. If somebody doesn't have their whole name written out on their Zoom profile, then I'll ask. I'll put it in the chat. What's your first name? I want to make sure that I know people's names. And then I go and after that call, I'll go and hit them up on LinkedIn. Hey, nice to virtually meet you on today's call. Let's connect on LinkedIn. And just do it immediately. And I didn't used to do that. Like I mentioned, that's a lesson that I kind of learned the hard way. When you need something, you want to make sure that you've done the right things normally when you are in need, people want to help you. And so if you've done the right things by just simply saying, hey, it was nice to meet you, join my network, people remember that. So I usually try to make some kind of personal impression on people. That's just kind of who I am. I genuinely am interested in what other people care about and what they do. I think it's just interesting. And that's been helpful for me because people like it when other people take an interest in things that they like. So I try to make an impression on people that way, but everybody's kind of got their own way that they're going to the human element of networking. But just the blocking and tackling of type down their name, hit them up on LinkedIn and say, let's connect. I made a habit of doing that probably 8-10 years ago, and the number of people that I'm connected to on LinkedIn is ridiculous. It's over, I think, 2,500 or something.
When you're networking with them, you're asking them questions about them. Do you have any typical questions that you ask them?
A lot of it is just small talk, just like we started the call today, or like I'll notice something about their background, like you and I when we chatted last week or a couple weeks ago, and noticed that you got it looks like a log cabin back there, so I'm going to ask about that. I would say just
don't be because it is.
Yeah, exactly. Like I would just say you don't want dead space on a call. I like the worst thing about a call, especially with customers or someone that you're meeting for the first time, or you don't have much background knowledge on. It's just people sitting there with dead space. I am allergic to dead space, so I'll say something stupid or make some kind of comment about the weather, just anything, just to get really people talking and just kind of become less guarded, if you will. Like a good example is like when we used to go sit in a sales meeting. We're not doing as many of those today, but
right.
You'd start with people with their hands crossed, and their arms, because they're guarded and they don't know you, and you're the sales
I'm not telling you anything about myself.
Exactly. And where you want to loosen that up through the course of your interactions with them. So at least that's something that I've always tried to do, is read body language and try to provide some level of warmth or comfort to the people that I'm meeting with, to let them know, like, I'm just I'm not going to be the how much software would you like to buy guy, if you remember that CA commercial from maybe the 2000s. I try to make it fun. People usually buy from people they like, so I try to play up that element in those kind of situations. But I don't know that I have a formula necessarily.
Any final thoughts on this?
Just people like to feel good, so if you can make somebody feel good, they're going to remember you. And it's not that hard. You're allowed to have fun and smile and make jokes at work. Like, work shouldn't be serious all the time. So try to make somebody smile.
Is there any type of companies that make a good partner for Fluence Technologies?
Yeah, so where we are today, we have a great product. We don't have a ton of brand awareness because we're basically a 2-year-old startup, essentially. So we need people to get our name out there and talk about us. Ideally, these are consulting organizations that already have a partnership with a financial planning and analysis vendor. So we partner with FP&A vendors. We don't compete with them. And most FP&A vendors, if they've sold that their solution can do financial consolidations, usually those are unhappy customers. So most of the FP&A vendors are happy to have Fluence come in and make their customers happy on the consolidation side to fix an unhappy customer. So consulting companies usually that have some relative mass of a bench, some consolidations knowledge. That's important, having an understanding of what consolidations are. And then the other side is the marketing and sales team. So we really are looking for partners, companies who can go generate their own business and fish off of different peers, if you will, than we're fishing off of, and expose us to a new customer base. As soon as people see Fluence, they like it, and like they're sold pretty much. These are fast sales cycles, less than 60 days usually.
Wow.
And we're usually talking right to the decision maker. So the controller is usually who's responsible for consolidation. So the controller is, reports usually directly to the CFO. A lot of times they are the CFO. So companies that do great quality business services, that understand consolidation, probably have a relationship with an existing FP&A vendor like a Workday Adaptive or an Anaplan or a Vena or a Pigment. And so those companies do great at FP&A. They don't do consolidations. So that's really where we come in. So we actually partner with those FP&A vendors. They've recognized that they don't really do or understand consolidation. So if it's beyond anything really simple, that they bring us in, those vendors bring us in, which is a unique place to be. So there's that kind of partner, but I'm more interested. Well, those are obviously important. I want those kind of partners too, but that's a little bit of a different discussion than the reseller/implementation partner, which I'm also signing and recruiting those. And it's going great. I mean, it usually the value is apparent. We are generous with our partner margin program. So, we really, it makes sense for companies to sell our stuff. It's a long-term business decision for them. So we're definitely investing, and we're partner first on everything. So we want all of our deals to be written on partner paper. We want our partners to get all the services business. So very, very partner friendly. So come give me a holla.
Sounds like a great opportunity if you're in the consolidation space.
It really is.
And what would be a good way to contact you if somebody wanted to reach out?
That is a great question. I'm on LinkedIn. I pretty much look like I do here. I think I can switch this over to my picture real fast if I stop video. So I think I'm using the same image on LinkedIn.
Okay, Benjamin Wilson on is it Ben Wilson or Benjamin?
That's a good question. Give me 2 seconds and I'll tell you. It looks like I can't change. There we go. I would give you my Twitter, but my Twitter is not my business profile, so I'm gonna keep that to myself. I might need to.
If you want to talk about hunting and guns, go on Twitter. Is that
there you go. It's Ben Wilson is how it's listed. Yes,
BenWilson.
That's it with Fluent. You can also do Ben Wilson and then Fluence, and then it should pull my mug right up.
Cool. Well, thank you for your time here today and sharing your knowledge and coaching us on networking.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. This was fun.
I've enjoyed it also. And until next time on the Prophets of IT, I am Jim Punzenberger, your host and the creator of the Managed Prospecting System. If you're looking to generate new clients or partners without ad spend, spamming, or cold calling, be sure to check out managedprospectingsystem.com.
Thank you for tuning in to the Prophets of IT. Please smash that like button, subscribe, and share.